Oh, shit. What the hell? What the hell? No, it's not attached. What the hell? Seems like. There we go. Okay, had some technical difficulties. So today we're talking about the truth about Shopify, reselling, and Facebook flips. So now there's many things about, I've dabbled into these realms multiple times. So I've resold shoes. I mean, Facebook flips, plenty of Facebook flips. I mean, I got plenty of junk around the house that I'm looking to get rid of. Actually today, literally, we got rid of an item for $300 on Facebook. So it's definitely possible to make money flipping, right? But of course, you gotta find the deals. And so when it comes to Shopify, there's multiple ways to do it. Some people get lost in the ways of how they go about Shopify, and Shopify is not that complicated, if you will. There's two options. You either have the products here in house. If I have the iPhone here and I'm selling the iPhone, I got shipped in house, or it's a technique called drop shipping. And so what drop shipping is basically, to tell you the gist of it, is you don't buy a product until it sells. So let's say, for the example, this meditations book, right? I have this on my website and I'm like, hey, I'm selling this meditation book. I don't actually have this book in stock, right? It's somewhere else. It's at somebody else's warehouse. But I have a link that allows me to purchase this thing, right? Let's say it costs $20 usually, and I could get it for 10. So in drop shipping, it's like you pay me, you're like, hey, I want the meditation book. So you pay me. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go to the company and buy this book because I have a special deal. I get to buy it for $10. Let me buy it for $10 and give it to you for 20. That's basically what drop shipping is. And since we got the meditation book in hand, let's just read the back of it, because always I'm about to say some outlandish shit, I'm sure. And so this will cover my ass, maybe. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's own self-deception and ignorance. Now we can finally start talking for real. And so we got the standergy. If you don't know what that is, that's standing energy. That's why I'm standing. So when it comes to Shopify, I've done it multiple times. I've had like 3 Shopify stores. So the first one was a coffee store. The second one, I want to say, I don't even remember what the second one was. And then the third one was me. I seen this ad, right? A freaking Iron Man toothbrush being sold for $200. And I said, yeah, I need to get on this bandwagon. I need to go ahead and find some products that show some Marvel something. And so what I did, I ended up finding these headphones. And these headphones were, some cool design, Bluetooth headphones and stuff. And so I was like, oh, like, because of like how they're selling this toothbrush, I'm sure the toothbrush is costing them $20 to make, and they selling that shit for $200. And so I was like, okay, like whatever these headphones are, I'm gonna sell them for like 4 times the price. And so I set the website and everything. It's not something I was passionate about. Like, I didn't care about, the objective of creating that Shopify store was literally to make money. It wasn't to like provide a service to anybody or, fill a hole in the market. It was literally because I was like, I want money. This thing is a great idea to just make money. So let me do that. And so that's why I was like, I stopped it before I even got started. But most people, when it comes to Shopify, there's actually you could tell when people are a Shopify store, because if you scroll down all the way down, a lot of them don't know how to get rid of the Power by Shopify. Now, ask me how I know, because I had to do this. Was back in the day that you had to go into the code line, the command line, and figure out which line to mess with to get rid of the Powered by Shopify. It's not that difficult now, so thank God for that. But Shopify reselling you should make it a branded store. It shouldn't be a store of everything. I made a store of everything. I remember the second one now. The second one now was buying a business, buying a Shopify business that it made I want to say 6 figures or something like that. It made a decent amount of money. Well, by the time I got it, it lasted shelf life, if you will, for that type of marketing of what the person was doing. So I bought it for, I want to say it was like 1,000, 1,500 bucks. And mind you, it was again, it proved itself to make 6 figures. So I was like, it was called Sandy Hayes. And so Sandy Hayes was uh, basically, I got some sales out of Sandy Hayes. It was, but it was all over the place. It was like Sandy Hayes for like beach stuff, but also has some electronics. Of course, you want speakers and stuff like that. But the only people that would get to like buy the stuff, interestingly enough, was people that were not in the United States. So what that means for me is that the people that were in these other countries needed this technology that was inside of them, not necessarily the speaker itself. But story for a different day. But so that's Shopify, right? Specifically, right? Shopify, you could literally grab anything and anything that you got around the house. So like you could sell, um, you know, this controls my lights. So the lights in the room, you could sell that whole system, computers, whatever have you, anything basically in your vicinity you could sell. But most people use the method of shipping stuff from China. So AliExpress, Alibaba, they use that for Shopify. When it's like you really should find a specific manufacturer, and that would be a better relationship. Something that, of course, if you're not in the United States, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're in the United States and you're shipping from China, that's a 30-day process, give or take, right? And so because it's that long, well, your customers are not going to be satisfied because they're used to Amazon. They're used to the USPS or UPS shipping. So that means that you have a week, basically. And so there's times that, pushing it 2 weeks is like really the quota, because they always say, hey, about 7 to 10 days of processing or whatever. And then 3 to 4, 5 days to ship it, actually. And so the reason why they say that is because it's from China and they need at least that 2 weeks in order to, like, give or take, provide that week of service. And so that's Shopify, right? It's the same thing that Amazon's doing when it comes to becoming an Amazon seller, right? You're just grabbing products that you see. You could go to Walmart and it's called retail arbitrage. And you go to Walmart specifically. That's the name of this. You go to Walmart, you find, let's say, a Monopoly or something that is like, oh, they have like 10 of these Monopolies for $20. And you look on Amazon, it sells for $35. And you're like, oh, okay, let me grab this, right? And so that's how it works. But with Amazon, you actually ship it to the Amazon warehouse, or you could ship it out yourself. Of course, there's different fees for each way of going about it, but that depends on what you're doing. So let's go into reselling specifically. So when I got into reselling heavily, well, let's tell you the first instance of me reselling. This is back when I was 11 years old. And so what I would do is I would go to the corner store. I would find these sugary candies. They were called Sour Power. If you know, you know. And so they're like a big strip of, like, the fruit roll-ups. They're kind of like that, except it was more of like a Sour Patch Kid version of the fruit roll-up. And so I would grab those, and they're 10 cents a piece. And so I could grab 10 for $1. So what would I sell it for? Well, I would sell four for $1. And so that's 25 cents. So that's two and a half markup, right? And so every customer pays for two and a half pieces of product. And so with that ratio, it's pretty decent, right? And so I would resell them. And the reason why I got out of the candy game is because people would just, like, basically rob you. And so that's why I got out of the game back in those days. But like, there is people out there making a bunch of, like, I say a bunch of money, but it's hundreds of dollars, which is kind of relative, especially for somebody in school, in high school or middle school, right? But there was people out there making a couple $100 every single week by doing this. And so, like, that was like the inspiration, because I seen somebody doing it and I was like, let me do it too. And so that was my first instance of reselling. And so that showed me the world of, like, entrepreneurship and being able to, like, okay, I just need to grab a product and grab a good enough product that allows me to resell it for higher than what I got it for. Simple. So later on, I got into reselling shoes. And so I was flipping shoes. And so the way I would go about it was probably different than most. So there's this app, it's called StockX. I would not, that's the only platform I would use to resell shoes because it's literally guaranteed money. Now the process, oh shit, the process sucks. Like it did take a long time. It took like 3 weeks. This was back in the days of the Corona, and so I don't know if that had something to do with it. Maybe the process got better or whatnot. But so what happened was, I would go to Marshalls, if you guys are familiar with that store, or Ross or something. And so with StockX, is brand new shoes. That's all you could resell is brand new shoes. So I would go to Marshalls. I would either scan or I would have to manually input. I don't think there was a scanning feature. I had to manually input the shoes, right, to see if there's profit in them. And so the way I would see that is StockX. Literally, it's like you put the shoe up and you're like, I have it, and you just take the deal. So like there's buyers and sellers, right? And so there's a seller looking for the shoe, and so I forgot what kind of Jordans these were, but it was some type of Jordans, and we were able to source three of them from that store. And so instantly, by sourcing the three of them at the store, they were so cheap that we made on that one transaction probably like $300, I want to say. And that was instant, but we had to float the money because we had to pay for it first, right? We had to pay for it first, ship it out, and then like wait a couple of weeks, if not a few weeks, in order to get that payment back. And so it wasn't a bad process, but it's a process, if you will. So I was able to easily make couple of $100 just literally roaming around stores like Marshalls. Again, there was plenty of Marshalls in my area, not in my area, but within the hour. So there was like maybe like 5 to 10 Marshalls in my area that I could easily hit and go to. So I was doing that, looking things up, and so that's the way that worked. And then there was some times where I would find a deal on Facebook Marketplace. Again, Facebook is coming into play here. I'll find it on Facebook Marketplace, grab that, send it to StockX, right? And the thing with StockX, like they could sell fake shoes, so it has to be real shoes. It can't be a fake shoe. And so, or it could be, because let me tell you this story. So when it came to StockX, I got these Sean Pauls, I want to say, the Nike Air Max 95s. And so I got them. They look, I mean, to my eyes, they look perfectly fine. I went to this local store to sell them because they were worth like, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 bucks. So I was like, all right, I have to go to a local store, check these out. I bought them for 300 bucks, mind you. So 320 bucks specifically. And so I go to the store, they look at it, they say it's fake. And so in my head, I'm like, fuck, I can't use StockX for this thing. Well, long and behold, eventually I send it to through StockX, and guess what? I got paid. It was like $1,100 sale, so I made $800 on those shoes. So again, there's opportunity everywhere when it comes to the shoe game, if you will, or reselling, if you will. You just gotta be able to see where the money is, right? And so StockX was one of those major keys for me when it came to reselling shoes. I did resell shoes on Facebook as well, used shoes, some cleats and what have you. But the best part was sending shoes to StockX because that just sold almost instantly. Well, instantly, really. And then the money didn't come instantly. It came in a little bit. But that's reselling reselling shoes specifically. Let's get into Facebook flips, because Facebook flips are something that people don't realize how much of a gold mine it is, if you will. Because at the end of the day, there's plenty of stuff here in this house that I'm not using. I'm not touching at all. So because there's plenty of stuff that I'm not using, I'm not touching at all, that means that, hey, it has a use case somewhere else. For example, I had this well, I actually had this workout equipment that I just sold today. And so I've had this power rack, though I really didn't use this power rack. I mean, I used it more in the beginning ish, but not really. I had this power rack for 2 years, and I mean, I've I call it hang myself because I hang on the bullet bar. So I would do that daily for, I don't know, it was like maybe 150 days or so. And so that doesn't do any wear and tear really to that thing. And so pretty much immaculate looking besides when I put my magnetic light on there and scratched it up. Other than that, pretty clean. When it came to the actual the barbell, the bar, I I used it maybe like 5 times, 10 times, if that. And so I was like, I'm not using this shit. I need to get rid of it. That's straight up. I had a thing that would allow me to have the monitors, instead of having one screen on the laptop, I would have three screens, right? And so it was an adapter. But the way it would work on my computers, it was like too bulky, too heavy. So I was like, get rid of it. And so I sold that for, I want to say, $100. And so like there is ability, if it's a good deal, people are go buy it. And so like you guys search for the good deal. Also, if you like so far what we've been talking about, please make sure you make a like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we're doing this every day at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so when it comes to Facebook, it's like, also, my name is Emmanuel Velasco, by the way, because I didn't mention that before. And then so when it comes to resell on Facebook, it's literally, Facebook is not the only one. There's a place called, it's Macari, and that allows you to ship stuff like it. I mean, Facebook does it too, but Macari specifically is kind of like eBay of the home reselling stuff, right? And so they kind of carved out a market for themselves for people to post stuff online locally and to be shipped. So there's that. So you have OfferUp as well. It's a similar thing to Facebook Marketplace in terms of like there's items there, you put it up, somebody maybe buys it, somebody makes an offer. There's so many different places for you to do this. So don't stick to just one. When I was doing it, I would throw it on Facebook, I would throw it on Craigslist, I would throw it on Macari. I didn't use eBay. Um, really. And I also resold purses and stuff. I would go to, per se, what is that called? Damn, it's escaping me. It's kind of like Marshalls, but it's not exact. Michaels, maybe. Um, and I would go there. We would check out some of the purses. Me and my wife. We would check out some of the purses and just see. Like, I mean, I never resold purses, so I was like, let me just check this out. And so I went ahead, grabbed the purses and resold them, made profit on them, right? And so it's like, again, you just have to have the eye for it. You can find these deals, you just got to look for them. And it's not something that's like, oh, it's going to fall into your lap. I mean, I had to go through a lot of stores before I found that. Okay, next level. There's actually an app called Whatnot. And so what I did with Whatnot, it was to really test and find out this is another reselling platform, except you resell live. So like I'm here live with you right now and we're going through the shits. Well, you go through the shits live. You'd be like, hey, I got this one of one Yu-Gi-Oh card or Pokemon card or baseball card, basketball card. Um, and sometimes it's just a pack. People be buying pack for like $35. When I first got introduced to this, a buddy of mine, it's a bidding thing, right? So it's a bidding thing. Of course, there's options to buy now, but so a buddy of mine, we went crazy and we bought like, I don't know, $8,000 worth of stuff, worth of collectible specific items. So that's basketball cards for the most part. Um, yeah, it was like pretty much straight basketball cards. And so there was a time where we decided, because back in those days, Whatnot, it was still in its infancy. So it wasn't fully, it didn't have all the glitches hatched out. So it was very glitchy when it came to bidding. So it would just like fuck up and then you would have to reset it completely in order to bid again. Well, when it fucked up, instead of doing, let's say $250 or something like that, it did like $380. And we're like, ooh, chill. We're not doing that on this one. But of course, on that specific one, because it was too late. The clock runs down, and every time somebody bids, if they have this option on, it adds like 5 to 10 minutes to the bidding process. So if you're the last one within, of course, number zero, then you get the item. But so these this card was a LeBron James card, and that was worth $20,000, and that's what we missed out on because that one time we didn't bid. And so it's a hit or miss when it comes to that specifically, right? But using it in the antithesis, okay, you use it as being the seller itself, and you just buy a pack of cards in the sense of like you go to Walmart or something like that. You grab this. Don't do this because I this is not my experience with it. Okay, I'm just saying like basically what these guys do. And so like they go to somebody, they buy a bulk load of like packs, starter packs, and all these things, and then they resell that. And so they have people bid on each individual pack sometimes or the box, right? And so when it comes and then live, they open up the box and then boom, they go through it, and then you see everything right there live in front of you as they open it. And so maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't, like we did. And so when I use Whatnot, I used it to sell video games that I had left over. So there's a bunch of video games that I had that I don't play. The fucking PS3, whatever, it doesn't work. And so I was able to sell, I don't know, maybe like 200 plus ish dollars of merchandise within one night. Just got rid of it. And I was, of course I was getting rid of it for cheap, honestly. I was starting the bids at $1 and then letting them go from there, right? And so like the way it works, I want to say you can set it up to the where the bids are like if it doesn't reach the reserve amount, it doesn't go through. But I didn't care about that. I was like, hey, we're doing $1, uh, $1 starts. That's what we're doing. And so again, the more people you have there, the better that interaction will be. And they're looking for specific things because these games are not being made anymore. So I had a Game Boy games. I had DS games, but like OG DS, like original DS type of thing. And so I had all these things, Game Boy SP and things of that, PSP and stuff like that. So it's like I wasn't using. They're like all these items right here sitting on the shelves. They're not being used. So it's like all this top shelf is like stuff that I'm like I could care less for. And so these are my basically ship items right here at the top, right? And so you could find this anywhere all over the house. You'll find different things to resell, use Facebook Marketplace on. And then, if you're really truly passionate about the kitchen, right, you could just start selling utensils, kitchen utensils specifically. And so again, you can niche down to which niche down means just choosing a specific category and grab whatever it is, electronics, clothing, shoes is its own fucking category. So yeah, that's been the truth about Shopify reselling and Facebook flips. There's money in all of it, right? You just gotta find the money in all of it and buy. It's always when it comes to flips, the buy is what matters, right? You make all your money when you first buy the product. Everything else is like you're screwed. If you buy a car right now and it's worth 5,000, it sits for 90 days, and then it used to be worth 10 grand, now it's worth 7 grand. Well, you bought it good. What if you bought it for 6 grand, and then you're like, okay, I bought it for 6 grand, it's going to be able to be sold for X amount, and you wait too long and now you're losing money, right? So it's like all the money is in the buy. So buy properly first, or buy at the best price that you possibly can, and that'll make sure that profits is there, because that's really what it is. But again, if you like this video, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. My name is Emmanuel Velasco. I'm on a mission to help 70 to 100 people learn everything I know so that they can each help another 70 to 100. And so if you want to be part of that mission and one of those 70 to 100, please click the link down in the description box below. Join the I Learned It from the internet community. And from there, we could have some deeper conversations about specifically what you need help on. Until the next video, I'll see you guys in a few. Peace.